What's up, you guys? It's your girl Kiya. That's right, it's me back with another video. If you're new to this channel, welcome. On this channel we discuss various movie reviews, we do show reviews, we do theory discussions, we do a little bit of everything that pertains to movies and shows and things like that. And so for people who've been here for a minute or are familiar with with our videos, Jalen is not here in the video with me today because unfortunately he does not watch Star Trek. I've been trying to get him to watch it. He will not watch it. I don't know why. Eventually, hopefully he'll watch it before season 4 starts. But as for right now, it's just me because I've watched all the seasons already myself. So I'm ready for this season 4. So stay tuned, you guys. I have a lot of information for you guys. We'll be going into the release date for the show. We'll be going into some of the characters and what we can expect from them in season 4. And we'll also be talking about what things could possibly be in the show. You guys saw these lights are too bright. I'm going to try to turn them down real quick. We'll also go into a couple of questions that a lot of people have been having pertaining to what we're going to be seeing in season 4. What kind of villains can we expect to see in season 4? Also, we'll be discussing whether or not the Kelvin timeline will introduce itself in this season of Star Trek. And also if we'll be seeing some of the Klingons in this season as well. As you guys know, Klingons, it pretty much started off from season 1 where we saw a lot of them. They're the main focus of that of those seasons of 1 and 2. So we've seen a lot of Klingons until season 3. We saw none of it. So a lot of people are very curious to know if we will be seeing them in season 4.
We come in peace.
We'll be discussing a lot of other things too that could be included in this season 4. So look forward to seeing it, guys. I'll definitely be putting timestamps in this video because I'm not sure how long it's going to be, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things. So make sure you guys smash that like button and stay tuned for more videos. And if you haven't seen our last video, definitely check it out. I'm also working on the Batwoman. I've been editing Batwoman as well. We did a review on that show, so it's interesting. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but we definitely did a review on it. So make sure you stay tuned for that and subscribe if you are interested in seeing more videos from us. So yeah, here we go. So CBS officially released that they'll be renewing Star Trek for a season 4, okay? And this was back in October. It wasn't until November that they actually started production on the show. And as you guys know, now it's January going into February now, so it's getting like to the point where originally maybe they would have probably started like putting a lot more stuff out about it, but due to COVID, there's been a lot of like things going on that's making the process a bit slower, which what we would expect because of it's a show and obviously they have to take special precautions because of that. And so with the rising in cases, they have to really be careful of production and things like that. So that's one thing that's been slowing down the process, but they are expecting it to last until June coming up. Eventually, kind of soon. Originally, they're going to be doing season 4, season 5 back to back, but because of COVID, they're not going to be able to do the 2 back to back because it's already taken them so long to try to get the 4th season done. And with COVID and everything, there's no way probably that they'll be able to do season 5 like back to back, you know what I'm saying? So that most likely probably won't be happening. But this is not necessarily on them. This is kind of being forced, so that it's not really in their choice to speed up the process. It's forced to be slow, which is probably a good thing to make sure that nobody gets sick and that they're taking the special precautions that they need to be. As for us who are eager to see the new season, yes, we're gonna have to be patient, and it's gonna be a little bit hard. So a lot of people are expecting to see season 4, at least the premiere of season 4, to at least come about until about 2022, which is a long time. I don't know if that's actually the official estimation of when the show actually be releasing. I'm not sure, but 2022, that's kind of way out there right now. So unfortunately, it seems like we're gonna have to wait quite a bit until we're able to actually see season 4, unfortunately. And also, I also read up that the producers as well have been taking their time kind of getting this show ready because of the fact that they want to make sure that they do things right, and they're taking their time with the show and making sure. So I guess the COVID thing, having to slow things down, isn't necessarily a bad thing because it allows them to focus more on making sure they make things the way they need to be, and kind of really take their time on developing season 4 and things like that. And you know what, I guess it comes with pros and cons, honestly. And also, where can we watch this? Is there any more platforms that we could watch it on besides CBS All Access? Unfortunately not. Right now we only have CBS All Access. I have tried to see if they're going to be putting on Netflix, which I'm pretty sure they probably won't anyway. So I read up on that, and it doesn't seem to be anything that says that they'll be putting it on there. Mostly because it's really too early to really know right now, because the premiere isn't necessarily like right away. So maybe down the line, maybe we'll have some other platforms that we could watch the show on. But right now we only have CBS. But that platform is being rebranded to Paramount Plus, which is going to be happening in March. So it's not going to be CBS All Access anymore. It's going to be Paramount. But there is some good news. Now it says that Star Trek is going to be expanding. So we'll also be seeing some new things as well. So we'll be seeing Picard. I hope I'm saying that right. Picard, Lower Decks, and the upcoming Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And there's some other ones coming up too. So I'm really excited to see what new stuff they come out with as well. So I think this whole thing is really exciting. And I think we have a lot to look forward to. Okay, so let's do a little recap of Season 3, okay? The whole point of Season 3 was basically to find the source of the burn, how it happened, who did it, and, basically all that information. So they found out what caused the burn, which is basically a Kelpian by the name of Sukal, who was trapped in the Verubian Nebula. So yeah, I hope I said that right. I don't know. Burnham and the other members of the Discovery also discovered what became of Earth as well. We also discovered that Vulcans changed their name to Navarre. They fulfilled the final mission for Spock as well. They also got mixed up in the galaxy's biggest threat, the criminal syndicate, Emerald Chain. So they're being led by their leader Osiris, who is basically trying to wipe out the Federation. That's basically what she was trying to do. But of course they stopped her. And at the end, you see Michael become the new captain of Discovery. And yeah, so let's get right back into this real information. I just want to do a quick recap for people who probably kind of forgot a little bit about what happened in the last season. What we can expect from some of the characters in Season 4. So I know some of y'all might want me to start off with Michael, but I'm gonna do her next. But first I'm gonna do Saru, because it's kind of like I feel like for me, I'm really interested to see what happens with him in this new series, because of the fact that how it ended. He went back to his planet with Sukal, so I'm kind of curious as to how his character is gonna proceed after this. Honestly, I'm really interested to see like what happens, what we can expect from his character in Season 4. So this is what one of the producers said. Michael Kurtzman. So this is his quote based off of what we can expect to see from Saru in this Season 4. He says, Saru is definitely a comeback. Of course he's coming back, but everyone is evolved in different ways, right? And I'm skipping ahead a little bit in the paragraph. And Saru, who I think made an extraordinary captain, also began to recognize by the end of the series that he doesn't necessarily have probably the hardest thing that a captain has to have, which is the willingness to be able to potentially sacrifice something you care for or somebody you care for to serve a greater good. And he doesn't know where he is on the line yet, and what's going to be part of what he gets to explore in Season 4. But we would never lose Doug. Never. So we can definitely say that we're going to be seeing Saru in the Season 4. And so we'll really get to expand and see his character development grow even more, because pretty much you've only really seen him as this character that's always always on the job. So I think that now we'll probably be able to see a different side of Saru. So I'm really excited to see what we see next from him. So next we're going to be doing Michael. So what can we expect to see from Michael? Of course, as we know that Michael, of course, like, she had a captain role before and messed it up. Then she was off to the captain role again, put it down, turned it down. Then she became second chair. I believe it's called second chair or second in command, I don't know, under Saru, but she messed it up as well. So now she's officially taken on this captain role again, and so now we're really gonna be able to see the challenges that she faces as a captain. So let's see what the producer has to say about Michael and what we can expect from her in Season 4. He says, I think Burnham goes through the journey that's very interesting over the course of 3 seasons. She's been told to be a certain person by so many different people. First to her parents, then to her Vulcan parents, then to Starfleet. And what she really realizes at the end of Season 3 is that she is chosen to be captained by Vance and by everyone else and by everybody else, because she's 2 things. She doesn't have to be one thing. None of us are really one thing. So I think Burnham at the end of the Season 3 learns to hold space for being 2 things, and that's okay. But that's challenging as a captain when sometimes you actually do have to make choices that don't allow you to make choices from both of those sides of yourself. So that's a really interesting problem for her that I think that she's going to have to go through. That's very true. I feel like Burnham has actually always struggled to try to figure out who she really is, and like really like she's always seen like in between, you know what I'm saying? Like there's always been two sides of her. So really being able to see like her struggle to be like, well, how should I be? Because so many people need me to be like two different things. And so like there's this idea of like who, like, you know, she just always had like that struggle to really know which one she should really stick with. And so I think in season 3 she really learned to embrace both sides and basically all of her. And so we really get to see how that struggle is going to be for her being a captain. Again, like, is she gonna fall back to some of the same struggles, or how is she gonna be able to cope with being the captain, you know, again at this point? So I think we have a lot to see from Burnham. Honestly, I'm excited to see what else we see from her. Another character that they discussed was Booker, or Book, whatever you would like to call him. He was introduced in season 3, and he becomes Michael's love interest in this season. Very cute. They cute or whatever. But anyway, let's get into it. So Alex says, obviously they have a love story in season 3, and no good love story is really good without lots of tests of that love. So she'll be going through some of that too. So we'll definitely be seeing them struggle in their relationship, because even in season 3, you can obviously see that a lot of times she had to do things without him, and so like you can kind of see him hanging back, like, okay, so what should I do, like what's my position here? So he tried to get more involved on the ship. And so I think with her being a captain now, I think it's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of time from him, I guess. And I think maybe he'll probably struggle with his place on the ship, because with them, they're there by choice. For him, he's kind of just like there, but he doesn't necessarily have to be there. So I think maybe he might struggle with what path he wants to take, or maybe, you know, like it'll really like challenge the relationship. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out in this season. Next, we'll be talking about Stamets. Stamets. I forgot his name. I forgot how to say it, but I'll put his picture on there so you guys obviously see what he looks like and which one I'm talking about. Honestly, he's one of the main characters in this series, so we're very familiar with him and his journey throughout this time. But it's gonna be interesting to see how his character develops because of this particular thing. Season 3 ends with Book's special empathic abilities being utilized to control the spore drive. What impact will that have on Paul Stamets in season 4? That is a good question. Honestly, I think that's a really good question to ask for this upcoming season, is how that's going to affect Paul in this new season. Let's see what Alex has to say about this. Stamets has carried this unique burden / gift, which is that he is the only one who can power the Discovery, and now someone else can. So, what does that mean? That is another question that we will be covering. So guys, it is official. This is going to be interesting, because not only is he kind of in danger for the fact that he is the only one that can power this ship, so of course outsiders who know about what the Discovery can actually do will probably try to use him against it, but now there's 2 people. So it's kind of going to be interesting to see, like, will this add on to Booker's character as far as like how vulnerable or valuable he's going to be on the ship from now on, or like even with Paul, like how's that going to affect him being on the ship? Is he going to feel like, well, maybe I just don't have a normal life now because I'm not really needed on the ship anymore? Is it going to result in that? Like, is he really going to feel like he's like needed on the ship anymore? It's basically like, of course he's good at other things, but how's that going to affect his character? So one character I've heard that is not going to be in season 4 is Philippa Georgiou. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. Oh my gosh. But anyways, I really enjoyed this character. I really feel like they did a really good job developing her character very well. I personally really enjoyed her in the show. She was honestly very entertaining, and even though she was really annoying at times, really knew how to get under people's skin. She was very intelligent, very clever. It was kind of hard not to like her, especially in certain parts. Like, she was just like very entertaining, and I really enjoyed her character development. Now, if you guys did not know, or you guys forgot, the after effect of her traveling from an alternative universe as well as time travel affected her health. So in order for her to stay alive, I believe that she was taken to another alternative universe or another place in time to keep her alive. So no, we will not be seeing any more of her, sadly. So that's it for the characters. Let's move on to the next topic. So for the first time in Star Trek history, women will staff all central bridge positions, okay? breaking a long tradition of the bridges of the Star Fleet being dominated by men, basically. Now, it doesn't mean that this is the first time that women were able to take these positions. It just means it's the first time that all these positions, all these big positions will be filled by women, basically. And these positions are called captain, you have the helm, and then you have operations/navigation. So all that will be basically all women. A lot of times it's usually just these placements are usually given to them because of emergency situations, but instead now they're actually going to be permanent roles rather than just temporary ones. And so this is very groundbreaking because this is kind of like a movement into towards gender equality in Starfleet and Star Trek. So basically what they're trying to do is normalize female officers in command and engineering positions, and also male officers in caring professions, and including gay, non-binary, and transgender characters like Adira and Gray without making their identity the priority focus, which I totally agree with. This is something we also talked about in Batwoman. I feel like a lot of shows really need to get straight, because a lot of times to take away from the actual character development and just focus on basically what they identify as, rather than actually developing their characters. So I think now it's great that they're actually going to be developing their characters more rather than just surrounding it around their sexuality. So I think that's great that they're actually taking that step to actually make these characters, actually develop these characters properly. But it's not saying that women are going to be domineering over men. It's just saying that the future of Star Trek is neither female or male, it's equal. So I think they're really trying to just focus on equality, and I think that's pretty cool. This brings us to our next topic. So will the Kelvin timeline be making an appearance in season 4? So, just in case you don't know what the Kelvin timeline is, let me just go over it really quick. So, the Kelvin timeline is the alternative universe where all 3 modern Star Trek films took place, okay? This reality was initially created when the villainous Nero time traveled back in time through the black hole, arriving the day of James T. Kirk's birth and altering the events of the main timeline. This created the Kelvin timeline, another universe that branched off from the main Star Trek timeline. A lot of people think that the Kelvin timeline might be making a reappearance, so let's talk about it. The 3rd season of Startrekdiscovery, multiple references to this alternative universe were made. So in the future, the Federation were aware of this. They were aware of this other reality. And in this series, if you guys remember, they actually briefly introduced a character who had been from that reality, from the Kelvin timeline to the Prime universe. Another reason why they think it might make another appearance is because, this is a big one, this is because Burnham's brother Spock died in the Kelvin timeline. So he actually died in the Kelvin timeline. So season 3 confirmed that the final fate of Spock was actually a mystery to Burnham still. This could honestly be a motivation for her, or a reason for her to actually travel to this alternative reality. So maybe we might end up seeing it. We never know. There's been many references. Then there's also a motive behind it as well. Now, if that would be relevant to the season, we don't know. Maybe it'll come after that. You never know. So let's talk about the villains that we can possibly be seeing in this season 4, which I'm excited about, honestly. It seems like it's going to be very interesting. So there's been a lot of talk about a non-living villain. Okay, let's get into this. In an online panel of Deadline, Kurtzman teased some of the other new elements that Paramount Plus series will examine, including the series' Big Bad. He critically suggested that season 4 will be diving deep into science before suggesting that the next antagonist would not be so cut and dry as the villains of the past. He explained, "There may have been many kinds of villains over the course of Star Trek. What happens when the villain is not actually any kind of living, breathing entity, but something else? How do you solve that problem?" This is going to be interesting to see how they handle the situation, honestly. But you know what? I think that's what makes it so interesting, because each season is always something different. And I think this right here is going to be really crazy, really interesting to see. But some are suspecting that he's not actually talking about anything like a robot. So a lot of people might think, oh, that's just a robot. But no, we don't think he's actually talking about an actual robot though. But some people think that maybe he actually is referring to maybe a concept. So I guess we have a lot up in the air here. We have a lot to look forward to. This is honestly, I'm very curious. Honestly, I'm very curious. What are they doing? What are we going to be seeing in season 4? But I think whatever they decide to do is going to be really interesting, and I think it's going to be very intriguing, and it's definitely going to be something different than we'll normally see. So this brings us on to Klingon. Can Star Trek fix the Klingon problem in season 4? That is a big question, because throughout this whole series, they still haven't been able to like officially like, you know, fix their relationship with the Klingons, apparently. So this is what information I was able to dig up on that. This is what a lot of people are saying and actually agree with this. It says, Star Trek Discovery Season 4 can bring back the Klingons, but it should be Star Trek, the next generation's version of the warrior race. This could fix a problem that CBS's flagship Star Trek series ran into when reimagining the Klingons in Star Trek Season 1. Since Discovery is now set in the 23rd century, it would make sense to bring back the Klingons fans already love, which I agree. Like, if you already have a version of the Klingons that were already a hit with fans in the past, then it'll probably make more sense to kind of like go towards that rather than making something different and really pissing off the fans, because this is the issue that actually like happened. So this is actually something I didn't know, so I'll freshen you guys up on this topic really quick. I'll inform you guys this little bit of drama just in case you did not know. So, some past issues. Star Trek Discovery Season 1's revamped Klingons seem to forget that the race has been rebooted a couple of times since Star Trek, the original series, introduced them in the 1960s. TOS's Klingons were much more human, but Star Trek the motion pictures completely changed them physically and behaviorally. TNG and Star Trek Deep Space Nine thoroughly explored Klingon culture, history, and mythology through the lens of Worf, and this made the Klingons more popular than ever. DSN's Trial and Tribulations slyly winked at how different TOS's Klingons were to Worf, and Star Trek Enterprise's prequel series attempted to explain this conundrum via the argument virus, which didn't quite please the fandom as a whole. So the Klingons canon was already a mess, but Star Trek Discovery seemed to make the matters worse by making the Klingons even more alien, despite the show set in the same 23rd century era as TOS. So yes, that's a past drama. So apparently they had to be very careful how they go about this, especially because now they're in the future. So now it's kind of colliding with a prior series, and so now they have to try to go in line. If they do bring the Klingons back, bring it in line with that storyline, so that way people aren't pissed off, because apparently there's already been some past drama with it, and so I guess he might have to tread softly if the Klingons were to make an appearance in Season 4. So this is honestly the best one that I think, if they were to bring the Klingons back in, how I think that they should do it. So some people think that the Klingons should resurface as rivals or even enemies to Starfleet. And that's because, like, a lot of people were, like I said before, a lot of people are saying that they should really try to stay in line with the series that has already kind of collided with it. So this is in their time now. So it only makes sense that, you know, they kind of try their best to kind of stay with that, because otherwise I feel like a lot of OG fans are really going to be pissed off about it. But I guess that just depends on the audience that's watching it now. So I guess we'll really see. For me, it's not really a big deal because I've never seen a series. But for people who have, which is probably maybe not a big number, maybe it will matter. But I don't really know. You guys let me know. You guys like diehard fans, like you've actually been like longtime fans of Star Trek to where it will bother you. Like, I don't know. Just let me know in the comments. And moving on from that, even just seeing how they developed over this time, like how they evolved since then, to explore how Klingon society was forced to change in the post-burn galaxy, and whether they reverted back to being a race of conquerors. Perhaps the Klingons are threatened by how the Federation is now rising to be the dominant power in the Alpha Quadrant, and in control of the galaxy's new dilithium supply. So it would be interesting to see how that plays out. Will they be like, if they come back, I feel like maybe a lot of things have changed over that time, so maybe it did go back to that type conqueror mindset where they had to kind of go back to that because of the situation that they're in now in the future. So I guess we have to really see how that plays out if they were to make a reappearance. I, for one, would be excited to kind of see what came of the Klingons, honestly, because like we've seen them in the first 2 seasons, so it only makes sense that like what happened to him over all this time. I mean, we've seen him like the first 2 seasons, it was a big deal. So like I feel like at some point, maybe it doesn't have to be in this season, but maybe like the following seasons they'll probably go back and kind of like discuss like what happened, or like they'll make an appearance then, and we kind of like get caught up on like what exactly has happened with the the Klingons and things like that. So what can we look forward to from this new season as it pertains to the Federation and rebuilding the Federation? So there's been discussions of new planets that are going to be introduced in this series, and I love new things. I love learning new things and stuff like that. Star Trek makes it very fun. I really enjoy like just learning new things about like different species and stuff that be going on in there. Like it's really like entertaining to me. So if they bring in new planets and new like species and things like that, I think it's gonna be very exciting, honestly. So, Season 4 begins with the process of rebuilding the Federation, which includes bringing some former members back into the fold. But Coleman indicates that Season 4 will have the crew of the USS Discovery visiting some strange new worlds in as well. Quoting Alex here, so this is what he says. There are still many species and planets that are not members of the Federation. So it's an amazing first step in a brighter future. But ultimately there's a long way still left to go. Without spoiling anything, that's a lot of what Season 4 is going to be about. It's confirmed. We're going to have a lot new things to look into in this new season. This is going to be very exciting to see like the Federation, how it grows, what new worlds, what new species that they discover, what new which one's actually going to join the Federation, if they come in conflict with any of them, which ones are going to become their enemies. It's going to be very interesting, guys. And sorry if I sound like kind of stuffy. Y'all know it's just allergies. It's allergy season. So as of right now, that's all we can really look forward to in Season 4, and I'm really excited because we have a lot to look forward to, honestly. We're gonna be seeing a lot. Hopefully down the line we'll get more information. We'll get some teasers. Hopefully we'll get some teasers eventually. I'm sure we'll get those eventually, get more information on it, and if I do get information, I'll be sure to make an update video as well. But yeah, as of right now, that's basically it. So guys, I know my voice kept cracking. It's gonna be a pain for me to edit this video because I have to edit so much out. Okay, literally every time I record, I keep a bottle of water like with me because my voice is always like, I'm not used to having to like talk louder, so my voice be like cracking and stuff. But honestly, guys, it was fun doing this video. It's gonna be really exciting to see what they do for Season 4. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, you guys. Really appreciate it. Gonna be coming out with a lot more content, and yeah, look forward to new content we're coming out with. Follow our socials as well. They'll be linked down in the description box below. And yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.